I got it, babe. Yeah, not right this second, but I'm gonna need it. Hi, Sarah. I'm just going to wait and see if anybody else hops on. If you're on, put a comment down there. Say hi, just so I know you're here. Hi, Jody. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Brittany. I see Monica just hopped on. Hi, Monica. Hi, Kirsten. I have to laugh because I am so unbelievably giddy and excited to do these sour jars with you guys tonight. I even tried to set the mood a little bit with my ring light, turning the lights different colors and all that. So tonight we have 3 unsuspecting victims of our jars. 1, 2, 3. These are 3 very deserving people of going in a sour jar. Sour jars can have a very long-lasting effect on somebody's life if you know what you're doing and you do it right, you do it well, the intention is there. You can really put somebody in their place and wreak some havoc on their life. These 3 people are going in jars. Hi, Rebecca. Because they have lied, they have manipulated, they have hurt women and children and animals. I don't wish death upon anybody, but each one of these people have done harm to innocent people. Hi, Laura. For no reason whatsoever other than their own selfishness, their own vendettas. In other words, they are about to get what's coming to them. Sour jars are able to be undone at any time by breaking the contents of the jar. Some people will bury the jars after they are created. Others will keep them on their altars and give them a little shake on a daily basis to make sure that the person's life stays in upheaval on a daily basis. You should really need to make sure that whoever it is you're putting in a jar deserves it rightfully. War water is something totally different, but war water is perfect to go inside of a sour jar. I don't have any on hand. I wish I did. It would have been perfect. But it's great to go inside of a sour jar. A sour jar consists of baneful herbs, herbs that are meant for, like I'm going to be putting some poppy seed in these for the purpose of warfare and disruption and termination. I will be putting white willow in for binding. I have rusted coffin nails used to raise the power of spells and rituals, for dark arts, for revenge, and for destruction. Hi, Serenity. I just started. I will also be putting graveyard dirt in these for curses, binding, banishing, and hexing. I'm going to, one of the last things I will be adding is Bloodroot. This is in substitution of my own blood, essentially sealing and giving the power of the jar with my blood, aka Bloodroot. And then I have some other herbs that I will be adding in along with a few other things, and then I will be sealing it with a black candle. I will melt the wax over the top of the jar lid to seal it with black wax. As I stated, you can either leave it on your altar, give it a little shake on a daily basis. You can bury it either on your property or somewhere far away from your property. The biggest thing that matters with this is your intent to bind and stop them. You stop it, sir. Leave my jars alone. My cat's messing with my shit. You can put varying things inside of your sour jars. It doesn't have to be the same thing every time. You can use what's on hand. Whatever you have, it's suggested to use urine, feces, vinegar, baneful herbs, broken glass, pins, needles, the graveyard dirt, coffin nails, she said he's ready to get this party started. He's ready to do something. He won't leave my damn jars alone. He's got an obsession with mugwort for some reason. I don't know if maybe it smells like catnip to him or what, but he absolutely loves my mugwort. It's great to have a picture of the person if you do have one. If not, their name on a piece of paper. I usually use their full name, first, last, and middle, and their birth date if you know their birth date. If you have any personal effects of theirs, hair, nail clippings, if you have an old piece of clothing, you could cut off a piece of clothing to stick it inside of the jar. Any personal effects of theirs would also work. In this case, I have one photo and two names written on the papers. So, victim number one, I'm not going to give out names. Victim number one is written on this piece of paper, and it was folded 3 times for the Trinity, and I folded it away from myself. So I'm going to start with adding victim number 1 to jar number 1. And then the same thing with victim number 2. Name is on the paper, folded 3 times for the Trinity, away from me. Into the jar. And then victim number 3. This is the photo of the person with their name and their birth date written on the back of it. Folded 3 times with the photo inward. Folded 3 times away from you. And into the jar. So I'm going to put my gloves on because I do have urine, human urine, and I have dog feces that will be going inside of these jars. I am going to start by adding the urine. Again, you want to state your intent either verbally or mentally. I'm just not, to not gross anybody out, I'm not going to actually show it, but in this baggie behind this bubble wrap, I do have dog feces that I am going to add. With the same thing, you want to add your intent as you add the feces to the jar. And then I'm going to take these gloves off and change them. Can you hand me another pair of gloves in that right there? Yep. Thank you. Serenity says, hi Tanessa. Serenity says, I'm so glad I'm on your good side. I know those are going to be hella potent. Like I said, he missed at the beginning. The 3 people who are in these jars are more than deserving of being placed in these jars. I wouldn't, God damn it, down. I wouldn't be putting them in jars if they didn't absolutely 100% deserve it. I've tried other things and they still are on their bullshit. So it's boiled down to this. Next, I am going to add apple cider vinegar. With the same thing, add your intention. At the end, once I get all of the herbs added into it, I am going to top the jars off with more apple cider vinegar, just so they're full. Now I am going to add the coffin nails. See, you can see they are coffin nails. Hi, Crystal. Is running around getting all the boys' stuff ready for school in the morning. Ooh, good luck to your boys. Do different types of vinegar have different effects or meaning, or are they all about the same? They're all the same. The vinegar it's the sour element to help add to the power and potency of the sour jar. So you can use apple cider vinegar, you can use white vinegar, any type of vinegar that you see fit, you can use. So I have here, and you can see they are, well, you can't see so much because of the lighting, but they are pretty rusted coffin nails. I'm going to add 1 into each jar. Again, with the intent. I don't have any broken glass. When I do the jars, I don't like to go out and just grab some glass and break it. I like to find already broken glass that's already been collected. I won't go and put pins or nails or anything like that in some water just to make them rusty for this purpose. I like to find ones that are already rusty. I don't go and make them rusty just for the purpose of the jars. Can you use non-baneful herbs? I don't keep any. You can, just depending on what the properties are of the herbs. They don't have to be baneful. Like white willow's not baneful. I'm using elderberries. Elderberries aren't baneful at all. One of the properties of elderberries, for the reason I'm using it in this, is for banishing. But the other properties of elderberries are blessings, wishes, healing, divination, prosperity, consecration, purification, banishing, protection, and spirit communication. I am adding it specifically for the banishing property. Do they have to be coffin nails, or can they just be rusty old nails? Nope, they can be any type of rusty old nails. Any type at all. They don't even have to be nails. They can be pins, they can be tacks, they can be like the sewing pins that you use to hold fabric together when you're sewing something. But just try to make sure that they're rusted. Glass, any type of broken glass. It doesn't have to be clear glass. It can be brown glass. It can be black glass. I like to have the glass so it's dirty, almost like you've dug it up out of the ground, so it has dirt and stuff on it from being in the elements. To me, it gives it a little bit more power. So we added our coffin nails. I run into Sean's garage and just look around. He has so many older nails for a reason. I have no idea. That's your reason right there, Crystal. He's saving them for you. He knows you need them. And I will now be adding graveyard dirt, as I stated before. This is for banishing curses, binding, and hexing, amongst many other reasons. So I'm going to add a bit of graveyard dirt with intention. That was the graveyard dirt. I am going to add white willow. My purpose for adding white willow is for binding. So as I add this, I'm going to state I add this white willow to this jar for the purpose of binding. I add this white willow to this jar for the purpose of binding. You can add as little or as much of these herbs, any of the herbs you choose to use. I add this white willow for the purpose of binding. Oh, do you use it in teas, Crystal? I will be adding poppy seed next for the purpose of disruption, termination, and warfare. I add this poppy seed for the purpose of disruption, termination, and warfare. I add this poppy seed for the purpose of disruption, warfare, and termination. I add this poppy seed for disruption, termination, and warfare. Next, I am going to add mugwort. I am adding mugwort for the purpose of banishing. Sir, go away. I add this mugwort for the purpose of banishing. I add this mugwort for the purpose of banishing. I add this mugwort for the purpose of banishing. Not even anywhere near you, but the energy I can feel from them is spicy as hell. Yes, girl, I love that. Next, I am going to add feverfew. I am adding feverfew for justice. Each one of the people that these people did wrong deserve justice, which is part of the reason why I am making these jars for these 3 unsuspecting victims. I add this feverfew for the purpose of justice for the victims. I add this feverfew for the purpose of justice for the victims. I add this feverfew for the purpose of the justice of the victims. Yeah, Crystal, there's 3. Next, I am adding wormwood for banishing. I add this wormwood for the purpose of banishing this person from our lives. I add this wormwood for banishing this person from our lives. I add this wormwood for banishing this person from our lives. Next is the elderberry. This is the last of the actual herbs I'm going to add, and as I stated, I am adding the elderberry for the purpose of banishing as well, to give the wormwood a little extra oomph. I add this elderberry for the purpose of banishing this person from our lives. I add this elderberry for the purpose of banishing this person from our lives. I add this elderberry for the purpose of banishing this person from our lives. And last but not least, the bloodroot. I have empowered this bloodroot with my own power, and it signifies sealing it with my blood. She's remind me never to piss her off. It's not even that it's somebody that's pissed me off. These 3 people have wreaked havoc in lives of people who did not deserve it. Women, children, pets, the elderly. They are not stopping their destruction. So I am going to help them stop their destruction. That is the purpose for each of these jars. So I add this bloodroot with full intention and power to stop this person from all harm they may cause. I add this bloodroot to stop this person from all harm they may cause. I add this bloodroot to stop this push. I add this bloodroot to stop this person from any harm they may cause. And as I said, I'm going to top these off with some more apple cider vinegar to make sure they're full. Make sure they're sealed nice and tight. Put your lids on really well. And there we have it. Let me just to give you a little better picture. Give it a little shake to make sure you can keep them in their place. There's our jars, ladies. Now I am going to take this black candle and I'm going to seal the jars with the wax. Again, sour jars are something I feel like you shouldn't get in the practice of doing sour jars all the time. As I stated before, be sure that the person that you are putting in a jar is deserving of it, without a doubt deserving of it. This candle is like, I don't know if y'all can see that or hear it, but it's like sparking at me. I get, call me sick and twisted, but I get immense joy from serving a different type of justice than what our justice system tends to do for a lot of the victims. Kitty, get off. Thank you. Jar number 1 is sealed. Yeah, the candle's popping. It's been popping. Now, one of these jars, well, 2 of these jars, I am going to give the person that I made them for the opportunity to keep the jar and shake it up on their own. I'm going to ask them what they would like me to have done with the jar. Either bury it, they take it home, or I put it on my altar to give it a little shake every day to make sure that they get what's coming to them. The 3rd jar, some of you already know who that jar is for. That one is definitely going to stay on my altar until I feel that it doesn't need to be there anymore. When I know or feel that this person is no longer a menace, wouldn't really say threat, but this person is definitely, she's very malicious, very untrustworthy, dishonest. And the candle still continues to sizzle. There we have number 2 sealed. And number 3. Like I said, not everybody has to make their jars the same way that I did. For me, the more baneful the herbs are, the better. The more urine makes it personal. Blood makes it personal. Personal items of said person makes it even more personal. If those things aren't attainable, vinegar will do, war water will do. As we've stated throughout numerous teachings that we have done, the biggest thing with any type of magic that you do is your intent. Make sure your intent is clear. I normally like to put chili flakes and vinegar with rotten lemons and oh, nice, Serenity. I was fresh out of maggots, so that's not something that I was even thinking about doing, but that's definitely one to keep in mind. I tend to not have, or rotten foods or anything like that. That's not, I've honestly never even thought to use any type of rotten food. Lemons actually make sense though. All right, and there's number 3. They all have the wax on them. I'm gonna drip some on the tops of the lids as well. Does anybody have any questions, any comments? I promise that none of you are in these jars. One of the things I added to this jar was justice for you and them boys. I love the smile on your face. Where I live, there's roadkill around, and I'll get rotten lemons from a friend's tree because she grows so many she can't. I have gloves on, so I wasn't able to click on the read Seymour there, Serenity. My apologies. This one is his. Because he's the biggest douchebag of them all. I can't believe this candle's still crackling and popping like it is. So she can't keep up. Yeah, I don't have any lemon trees around, but I may Like I said, I don't really prepare in advance for when I need to do a sour jar. If I feel it needs done, I will grab whatever it is that I have on hand and do so. Originally, this live tonight was supposed to be protection jars, and then some things happened that merited sour jars instead. So that is why I decided to do these instead. I will do a protection jars live probably maybe in October or possibly in September, depending on what the schedule already looks like. I kind of try usually when I do any type of jar that I seal with wax, I try to use the entire candle to seal the jar, because I've already put the intent into the candle. A lot of people like to rub maybe a banishing oil on the candles, or they will carve the person's name into the candle before beginning. I did not do either of those things, but if that's something that suits you, I definitely encourage you to do so. Great way to start off the week, I guess you could say. Doing these kinds of jars always makes me feel very powerful. And for those who are not into the dark arts, I do apologize, but in this group we do a little bit of everything. We have light, we have dark, we have everything in between. You can't have light without the dark, and you can't have dark without the light. The disclaimer will be posted in the comments that this live and everything in it is not to be reproduced in any fashion. I will add the disclaimer to the comments. I hope everybody has agreed to the disclaimer that was pinned at the top of the page. My mom always taught me it's good to understand all sides, and you are definitely right. It is good to understand all sides. I don't ever set out to harm anybody. Karma will serve that justice for anybody. What I like to do is to give karma a little bit of a push. Rightfully so. I never do something without pure intent and purpose. Alright, I'm about to get burnt. And there we have it, ladies. Or jars. Number 1. Number 2. And number 3. there we have it. Anybody got any questions, comments, anything else they want to add? I'm going to give these one more good shake before I place them on my altar to continually shake them up a little every day. They look disgusting. All right, ladies, I'm going to hop off of here. I will add the disclaimer in the comments. Make sure everybody has agreed to it in the pinned post, I should say. I hope you all have a great work week, school week. Good luck to anybody's kids who are starting school this week. Thank you for this love. I'll be watching the beginning soon. All right, ladies, I will talk to you all very soon. Blessed be.